Man, welcome back to another episode of the Think Successfully Room. This is a platform we focus on building mindsets. We building character, bringing value to both you and your people, and aligning your body with your intelligence. I am your host, QB So Effing Amazing, DEVIN Perkins. Man, appreciate you, brother.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good, man. So, like I just mentioned, man, we linked up on TikTok a while back. You know what I'm saying? We enjoyed each other content. So it was only right to actually hop on an actual video call so we can have a little bit more time to, pick each other's brains a little bit.
For sure. First of all, I appreciate your content on TikTok because you are utilizing the platform where all the younger generations are, and you're educating at the same time. And that is my biggest thing in this gun industry, is focusing on the next generation and being in the avenues and the spaces where they are and getting them the information and meeting them where they're at to bring them along. So I appreciate anybody that's on there. You, myself, my brothers, Gorillas in the Mist, anybody that's young and doing it, I love to shout them out. Yeah. So thank you for doing what you're doing before anything.
Man, appreciate you, bro. It's man, it meant a lot to me, like especially because when you have valuable information like that, the last thing you want to do is be selfish with it, especially when we think about the youth and just the younger generation. I think it's fair to say that they probably don't have a lot of people around them that's capable of educating them on guns, right? So it's definitely important to show them not only how to respect firearms and how to be, educated on the laws and things, but also how to use one the proper way. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't mind me asking, Devin, man, like what got you into the world of guns, firearms?
Ooh. It is a very abstract path of how I got to where I am. Ultimately, it began, I would even say, when I was younger. I had a great grandfather who he always had a gun of some kind, and it was just a normal thing. He had a shotgun that I've seen him kill foxes, big snakes, anything that would, come on the property. I saw him take care of that. But he also had a pistol that he would take with him because he retired and took on this like little security gig, and he would let me load his revolver. So that was where I would say I was introduced to guns. And then from there, I always knew, like, all right, as a grown man, one thing you have to have in your house is a gun, Absolutely. And then me being a history nerd and really getting into Black history early. I mean, I was doing a Malcolm X and a Martin Luther King biography in 3rd grade. So I was real hip to Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame Ture. And being a history buff in America as a Black man it's the no-brainer that you have to own a gun. Like it just makes sense. It goes hand in hand with our history in this country. And part of that, I just grew up, and then the Trayvon Martin situation happened. And I remember one of my homies in DC, his mom asked him, and she was like, how does that make you feel? And he was like, it just makes me feel like I need a gun. It doesn't scare me or anything. It just means that people aren't fighting no more. And that's the logic that I took on as well, is that like we can throw hands and walk away, but we're past that time and culture where people are even humble enough to take a loss and be cool with taking a loss. It's now you're embarrassing me in front of my peers, so on and so forth. So we're going to escalate the situation. So me being a part of that culture, not necessarily in the culture doing that, but me being a part of that culture with my friends and my peers and everything. Once I got to an age where it was time for us to reverse everything that we've been doing and start to get back, firearms was the first thing that we really saw as an avenue to use as a martial arts for younger generations, and essentially curate and cultivate and guide the untamed aggression and masculinity that's coming up in our youth without the guidance and proper like structure. So that's what we do now with my Kids of Kings program. Is we essentially are going to any place, any kid that wants to join and learn how to properly use firearms. We take them, we run them through a mental health presentation and workshop, and then we put them on the range. We teach them how to use guns the right way. Yeah, we just want to make sure that they're self-sufficient adults. It's not even necessarily about the gun. We use the gun as like the shiny object in the room, and then we talk about all the subjects around the gun, and it kills a lot of the misinformation that they've learned from entertainment. However, you know what I mean? So that's essentially my main story. There's a whole like political aspect as well, but I won't rant. I'll let you
Oh no, it's all good, man. I'm all ears, man. That's one thing. That's my biggest trait is knowing how to listen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely all ears. Man, that'd be interesting one day if I was able to come down, because you in Texas, correct?
No.
No, you
Man,
ain't.
I've jumped from Virginia to Atlanta, from Atlanta to St. Louis, back to Atlanta, and now I'm in Colorado.
Damn, I don't know why I thought you, or maybe that was just a range you was shooting at that was in Texas. Or was I seeing the wrong?
You might have been thinking about the range in Georgia. My mentor Kevin Dixie, that's another person you should probably have on this podcast, and I can link y'all.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he just opened a 40-acre range in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's named after Greenwood, so it's called the Greenwood Project. And
Man,
it's going to be a facility where they do agriculture. The boys are going to be it's my Kids the Kings program's home range, but along with the range, there's going to be animals for them to raise, crops and flowers for them to garden and learn agriculture with. They're going to do a little bit of land nav, like enough to like they would be able to get around at least 40 acres. You know what I mean? Water purification, carpentry, like we about to put these boys in a completely different environment. But honestly, it's easier teaching kids in a different environment that they're, for lack of better terms, amazed by or infatuated with, as opposed to them in the same setting that they're always in and going through the same thing. So that's one of our biggest tactics is we get them out of their regular environment and then we teach them whatever we want to teach them.
So y'all really going for not only the guns alone, but y'all really trying to teach them how to be self-sufficient.
100%. So
Yeah,
from
yeah,
your
that's
mental
big.
health state to your physical health state, everything. We with the program, we do weekly checkups, and every Wednesday is workout Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like we don't play none of that out of shape stuff. Like these boys, yeah. I want at least for of the 15 of them, if I can get 8 of them that turn out like me or better than me, like the creations that they become the brainchild that I see them to be. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem for the world.
Man, bro, if it's possible, man, sometime in the future, man, I love to come where y'all at and check out y'all environment and see what y'all got going on, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
So our background is a little different in terms of how we got into guns and things of that nature. But I think the first time I saw a gun, my grandfather, they from the South. So a lot of my family is in the Mississippi area. And I
Okay.
remember when I was about 11 or 12, I might have been 11, and my grandfather had it was kind of one of those things he was trying to avoid me from seeing. But you know, when you kids and you curious, you just roam through shit.
Yeah,
You know,
for
so
sure.
I ended up going in his bedroom while he was getting ready for bed, open up his closet, and I'd have seen all type of rifles, shotguns, revolvers, like almost like how your background is. That's how his guns was set up. And I was already just amazed I was already enthused by that. And I'm like, damn, when I get older, I want some guns. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
for
But
sure. I mean, what
after
young boy, and that was my thing with the approach that we were taking is like, what young boy doesn't want to play with guns? So either
yeah,
you gonna let me do it the right way, or your son's gonna be in the streets and he gonna find out the wrong way. It's one or the other. It's essentially
absolutely.
inevitable, especially in Atlanta where my program is. Like,
Yeah.
come on, yo.
And
Yeah,
then you gotta think about all the video games and things that they have access to that already promotes that anyway.
bro. In Atlanta, for me, like video games is such a they're so far off because of the young kids that have access to guns. Like 2 years ago, one of the kids in my program's cousins got killed in a shootout at Atlantic Station in Atlanta.
Oh
And
man.
now it's the whole, and these kids are between 12 and like 16. dropping diss tracks, talking about the kid that died, talking about his mom, all of that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the video games, like if you gonna play video games, at least understand that it's entertainment. But we
Right.
gotta address what y'all are being influenced by in the real world. And
Yeah.
that's my biggest focus is like you now know one of the biggest exercises that's effective in our program is we'll take 3-4 music videos or some TikTok videos, right? And we'll put them on the screen. And then we'll show the boys after we teach them the 4 essential rules, and they have to point out in the videos what's wrong in the videos.
Right.
So they're seeing the rappers that they're influenced by use guns incorrectly, and then they have to point it out. So yeah, it kills that influence as well. So
That's
that's our goal.
that's a good exercise. Actually, it's causing them to work their brain a little bit too and be
Yep.
able to identify those errors and
Yeah.
mistakes. That way they know how to implement the same. That way they know how to avoid those errors in the real world. No, I like that. That's a dope exercise.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, man. So man, like I was saying, bro, past the younger age, right? I didn't really think about guns, you know what I'm saying, for a very long time, even though like in Rockford, Illinois, I had grew up in an environment where gunshots was kind of a thing almost every night. So it was kind of something we would always hear as we're laying down, getting ready to go to bed, but never really had the mindset of, oh, I want a gun, you know what I'm saying? Even though we was used to hearing them. But it was a situation my mother was in with her significant other. And you know, we all know when people are intoxicated or under the influence of drugs, you know what I'm saying? One thing
Yep.
can lead to a next, you know what I'm saying, especially if they have access to a firearm. Right. So long story short, you know, I'm the oldest out of 7 kids. So, you know what I'm saying, it was a situation. He was under the influence of alcohol, drugs, my mama running down the street, you know, scared for her life. It was kind of one of those situations where as a big brother, my protective, you know what I'm saying, my protective instinct kicked in and
Right.
I ended up going to purchase a firearm, you know what I'm saying? But I realized I was purchasing it for the wrong reasons, you know what I'm saying? So in the state of Illinois, we got to wait 72 hours before we can even get that firearm because of background checks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So by the time I even picked up my gun, I wasn't even upset no more. You know what I'm saying? So even though I had it, I remember I had a Smith & Wesson MMP 2.0. It was one of the older models. It hold like 17 rounds or something like that. I
Okay.
remember completely filling up the magazine, inserting the mag, racking the slide, and because I wasn't that knowledgeable about guns, I was like, "Oh shit, it's a live round in the chamber. Like, how do I eject it?" You know what I'm saying? So I remember watching like 10 videos on how to properly eject the round, and it was very simple. Drop the magazine, rack
Right.
the slide, and that round should come flying out. And I think at that point, that's when I became very, very intrigued by guns. Right, that was in 2019. Then going into 2020, I racked up like 30,000 in credit card debt buying guns. Yeah, yeah, like I was bro, I was ordering credit cards just to buy guns.
Hey,
Yeah, it was
guns
bad.
it's an expensive hobby. I tell people it's like golf. Like you're gonna spend the
Yeah,
money regardless. So buy one, cry once. Get yourself some quality material, some quality equipment, and go train. So you
yeah,
don't waste your money buying a bunch of junk. Yeah.
absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
speaking of that, 2.0 metal,
Yeah,
the 23 round
uh,
magazines. Yeah.
man,
I
is that a
love this.
competitor model?
Nah, it's not. It's not. I was actually
Yeah.
advised not to get the competitor
Damn,
by
really?
one of the dudes who was it was only because of being
Yeah,
unfamiliar with it. But
yeah, yeah.
he was in the development of this one of my homies. So
Okay.
when he told me, he was like, "Yo, get that gun. Like that's going to be the gun from now on." And I was like, "Yeah." Like
Yeah,
everything
why
about
not?
this
Yeah,
joint,
yeah,
I love this joint. Yeah.
yeah.
A 3.5 pound trigger out the box. Like, when do we hear
And
that?
it's a good gun, man. Like I done had
Yeah.
a couple of, man. It's a fire gun, man. I ended up getting that one because I do a lot of competition shooting. So I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
see. Yeah.
man, I need something that's more useful for competing. So that's what I went and got. And then I ended up turning around getting a Canic TTI Combat.
How you
Um
like that?
man, I think it's I shot it one time, but that was my first Canik I done had. So I hadn't, it's not like I had an opportunity to compare it to previous Canics because that's my first Canik I done had.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it feels it's comfortable because I got fairly big hands. The grips is pretty aggressive, man. So when I'm
Yeah, for
shooting
sure.
it, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't feel like it's slipping out of my hands, right? And then the front serrations allowed me to kind of perform them press checks a little bit better. And then I guess somewhat the compensator, does help with the recoil. And then but to be completely honest with you, I got it because I'm a fan of their trigger. And then it's a Terran Tactical, you know what I'm saying? So that's really what led me to getting it. So, yeah,
Oh
man.
man, Terran's a cool dude. I met him once.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I met him before his whole situation with them girls happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like right before. But yeah,
But
he's
did
cool.
you got a chance to shoot with him or?
No, I just met him. Yeah.
Oh, okay, man. Yeah, that's every time I look at his videos, man. I just want to be able to have a chance to go on his range one time, and you know what I'm saying, and just get some rounds off, man. He seemed like a real cool dude, man. So if you don't mind me, like, also, man, what are some common misconceptions do you feel people have about guns?
Common misconceptions that you have. What? Oh, geez, I hate this one. That you black people specifically
Yeah,
stop keeping your guns in your trunks, yo. Like movies are not teaching you correctly, and you're going to get yourself smoked in a situation where you think you can get back to your trunk to get a gun to go at it. Like it's just
yeah,
not
nah,
smart.
right,
Stop thinking that 40 cals are stopping power and that it's a bigger round or a better round than 9mm. It's not.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm like specifically speaking to black people because I work at a lot of gun shows with my
Uh-huh.
job. And I get a lot of dumb questions. And I don't want to tell them that they're dumb because I'm trying to educate them and hopefully get some of quality in their
Man,
hands.
you gotta give me a couple of them dumb questions, man. I just want to hear what's some
I
dumb
mean,
shit you heard.
it's dumb to us because we've been in the industry, but like people who
Yeah.
are coming up, like grown men asking me for 380s, it's
Oh
like, bro,
man.
nah, bro.
Yeah,
Like we're not
nah.
doing that. I mean, grown men
Yeah.
coming up there asking like, yo, do you have any 22s for my wife? Like, why does she need a 22?
Right.
Perfect example. Yesterday, I had to teach a one-on-one class, and
Uh,
it's a lady who's becoming a security guard. She said she was like, "I want to start on a 22 and go to a 9mm." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I got a Glock 44, and a Glock 19. She probably shot 10 rounds out of the 22, and I was like, "All right, we're done with this. Like, you're not gonna learn. Like, you're gonna learn, but like." Let's put what you're going to actually use in your hands. And she was
right.
actually
Right.
shooting this, and she was punching out holes like that by the end of the day. So,
Nice.
yeah, and stop with I'm buying the first gun myth. People will go get a G2C or a G3C and say, yeah, it was a good first gun. No, it's not. You're lying to yourself. It was a cheap gun that you saw that aesthetically looks good. It
Yeah.
almost looks like a Glock, and that's why you bought it. Stop lying to yourself. The trigger is trash. The customer service is trash. Like,
Yeah.
I highly recommend Bursas over Tauruses, hands down.
Mm.
I've
Yeah,
worked with
I ain't
Bursa.
never really.
I've seen their guns run. I've ran Tauruses. I will take a Bursa over a Taurus any day of the week. Man, I can keep going. Like the myth beams. Oh my god, beams and G flex triggers. Stop putting them bitches in your
Yeah.
gun. Oh my god, if you get a
Yeah.
red dot from a gun show that is some like off-brand, like almost airsoft stuff, you're going to be back the next gun show trying to find something that's more quality. So get a quality dot. And I don't even care if it's like Crimson Trace, but get
Yeah.
something that's not gun show-ish. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
yeah, the G flex triggers. Stop putting them bitches in your Glocks, bro. Like, stop. They're not accurate. They're cool, but
Yeah.
they're not quality binary triggers either. So after 1,000 rounds or so, the joints break. Like at the
Mm.
gun shop I'm at right now,
Yeah.
after we get back from a gun show, we don't sell those triggers at all. But
Mm.
once they come in, or after every gun show, we get at least 4 or 5 of them that have already broken by the time we're back at the shops. Like Stop it. Beams and G-flex triggers. Don't put them in your guns anymore.
Man, I learned the hard way too, man. I feel like when you purchase a gun and you got to do a lot of modifications, man, you got to really question whether it's a good gun or not, man. You know what I'm
Yeah, for
saying?
sure.
If you gotta modify that joint, like multiple times just for you to get a good gun out of it, man, you probably it's probably a trash ass gun, man.
Yeah. Now there
Yeah.
are like the blank canvases. Like people will buy a 1911 or like a Glock, and they're like, no, this is about to be a project gun. Like this is what I'm about to turn this into. That's
Mhm.
different. If you're just consistently going and trying to buy skill, like buying a beam and putting a laser on your gun, it's like
You
just go
you
take a
said
class,
you
bro.
said you said buy skill.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
they be
yeah.
trying to do.
No, no, I
Buy skill.
agree. I agree. Yeah, like that shit gonna make them shoot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah,
when
man.
people the I love answering the question of why don't I need to put a binary trigger in it? And it's because, first of all, the reason why I named G Flex specifically is because I've heard their reps lie to people about basic physics, saying
Mm.
that the recoil of a gun is easier to manage when the first blast goes off and you can manage the recoil of the second blast when your trigger or when your muzzle's already raised.
Right,
So
right.
here you let go. How is that at all going to be more accurate?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you every normal shooter knows you shoot, let your sights settle, shoot
Yeah,
again.
and then you shoot again. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta let them reposition themselves.
So even hearing like mythical like selling strategies is to me like you're not even doing a service to this community. You're just lying to sell a product. So that's the only reason why I
Man,
specifically named G Flex is
man,
because
you wanna know what my
I
gun
hate that.
you wanna know what my gun instructor, the guy that trained me, that instructor, like when I first got my concealed carry license. I ended up buying some AR pieces from him. Well, he helped me build my first AR-15,
Okay.
and he sold me a airsoft red dot. It was like it was a rifle optic, but it was an airsoft brand. But of course, I didn't know that at the time, so
Right.
I ended up I'm not sure if you ever heard of Spartan Tactical Training. It's a Midwest. It's a Midwest organization. They do a lot of basic AR-15 training, pistol, shotgun, just about
Maybe.
anything.
See, there's a gun store in Virginia called Spartan Tactical. So as soon as you said that, my mind went straight to that.
I don't know if they based out of Virginia or not. They might be.
No, 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 no. That's just a gun store.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
they don't do a lot of training there. But I'm
Yeah.
not too familiar now.
Yeah. So well, I took a AR-15 class with them, basic drills, just getting you more comfortable with the AR-15 platform, and they are the ones that told me that that was a airsoft brand, but they didn't really complain too much about it because it was holding a zero. You
No,
know what
there
I'm
you go.
saying? But even still though, as a gun instructor, man, why would you give me like why would you sell me an airsoft?
Yeah,
Like
and not
I just
tell
didn't
you
like that.
like
I was upset
it'd
at
be
that.
one thing if he told you like, yo, like this is just something that's gonna put you on paper, like you can get used to at least the feel of it, but get you something
Yeah.
better. If he would have preferenced you with that, that's different. But
Yeah.
he just sold you some shit he was trying to get rid of. Yeah, that's a setup.
Right, right. Yeah, it was crazy, bro. So I was like, I was highly upset at that, man. And then also my biggest problem with guys too is that they call themselves being certified instructors, but they don't even train on a regular basis themselves.
Oh man, that's the conversation me and my homies have religiously. Is
Yeah,
I'll post it too. A lot of y'all calling yourselves instructors need to stop. Y'all
yeah,
need to stop. Like if you're still chicken winging rifles, you probably don't even know how to shoot a pistol right. Like
yeah,
man,
man. And
and I yeah, we could go on about
that
that for hours.
that's the thing right there. When you can master a pistol, you know what I'm saying? When I can see you shoot a pistol pretty good, then I'm like, okay, this guy got some skills. But I done seen instructors that done pass students, like they probably in they cute, you know what I'm saying? When you at a gun range, little sections off, like I done seen gun instructors pass students that probably shouldn't have been passed. You know what I'm saying? They probably leaning on the cubicle, shooting, like they not really teaching them basic the shit they should know
Right.
going
Yeah.
into the real world, and still will pass them with a certificate to be able to get they concealed carry license. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of
Yes.
things like I think when you seek for a gun instructor, you really have to do your research on that person to really see if they qualify to really instruct you.
Oh yeah, I discriminate against instructors all the time.
Yeah.
One of my biggest prejudices against instructors, I will not train with a fat instructor. I'm sorry. Like if I'm looking for moving and shooting, there's no way you're going to be
Yeah.
able to teach me. It's just it is what it is. Like at this point, I'm done with those
Yeah.
NRA orange vests. Like we're not doing that no more. Like nah,
Yeah,
nah.
so if you come across, say like you, man, how the hell am I trying to word this, man? Say like you do sign up for a class or some shit, and you really don't know the physical capabilities of the person you signing up with. You know what I'm saying? And let's say you go train with them, and it appears that he's fat, sloppy, and he just don't have the capabilities you looking for. What do you tell him? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, I think I'm a pass.
Um, now at this point, I'm pretty. There's one exception to this rule. Let me say that. There's a
Uh,
guy in South Carolina. His name is Chris Lyles. He goes by Tactical Santa Claus. He's the only person that would appear to be overweight that I would train with, but I know for a fact he trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So
mm,
he's at least athletic, you know what I'm saying? And
right,
he
right.
knows how to run a pistol. But other than that, bro, like to me, appearance is your first impression.
Hmm.
And if we're talking about um, being people who are professionals and tacticians of preserving life,
Hmm.
your health is number one. So
Right,
like I said, if we're gonna start moving and shooting, how much are you gonna actually be able to teach me? Because I
right.
only train with instructors that demo the drills that we're about to do. If you're just telling me to do
Absolutely,
something, I don't know what it's supposed to look like. So
absolutely.
no,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that shit, man. I definitely agree with that shit 100%, man. Like, especially if it's a particular thing you looking for, you would expect the instructor to know how to demonstrate that. You know what I'm saying?
for
And
sure.
not
Yep.
feel like I'm finna pay you and you can't even demonstrate what the fuck I'm
Yep.
asking from you. You know what
It's
I'm
like
saying? No,
having it's like having a college professor that just sends you home with like notes to read and books to look up. It's like, what are we paying you to teach if
you
you're
you know
just
so
telling me what to do? Like, no,
you know, bro, like now that we talk about school, man, if it wasn't for my mom, I probably would have dropped out of school, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
I
You know what I'm
tried to
saying?
drop out. I tried to drop out, get my GED, and go to community college a year early because I was just done with the structure of our
The-
education as a whole.
no,
So I was like,
facts.
yo, can we just expedite this? Like, trying to
Yeah,
get up
like
out of here.
it was ridiculous, man. School itself was like I feel like maybe them elementary years was useful because that's where you learn how to read, write, and things and that. But like when you got to high school, I'm like, man, this shit. Uh, like a lot of the things,
It was a social club.
yeah.
That was
Or I
really
would
it.
say this. I would say this. A lot of times, teachers try to make it seem like to parents, like, look, your child isn't this, he's not paying attention. He has ADHD. Nah, he don't have ADHD. He's just not interested in what you're learning. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? That's or just the way that you teaching it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it was because of that. Like if it weren't for my mom and me trying to satisfy her by, you know what I'm saying, giving her something to be proud of, I would have left school.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh God.
I believe that specifically like males, once
Mhm.
they're and anybody for real, once they're done with their like freshman year of high school, they should be able to have the option to go specifically into training for a trade for the
Yeah.
next 3 years.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I didn't go to college. I dropped out of college. The only time I went back for higher education is when I got a scholarship to do it. But yeah,
Man, I wish I would have
yeah,
did that shit, man. Look, I don't even want to get into the college talk, man. I go on forever about that shit.
yeah.
Man, so man, bro, what was your first gun that you purchased?
Huh. A Walther PPX and 9 millimeter. So it's basically like a really, really nice high point. It was a
Mm,
high point, but a really nice trigger. But yeah, Walther came out with it was like the predecessor to the PPQ,
hmm.
and it was just big and clunky. Honestly, it was funny. I bought it because I saw the PPQ. The PPQ was on the cover of some magazine that's Gun of the Year. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, well, this one looks cool. It says Gun of the Year. I don't know nothing about guns. I'm gonna get that gun that says Gun of the Year. So when I went looking for it, the one that looked like it is the one that I bought, but it wasn't the exact one. But it was a decent gun for for the time and purpose.
Right.
Regular 3-dot system. A really good trigger for it. It was just big and bulky. So yeah. And I'm not the type that's just gonna keep guns. Like if it doesn't serve a purpose anymore, I'm selling it to get something else. So
get rid of it. Yeah, absolutely.
I've probably been through 3 different like bad gun collections before I started like buying quality firearms.
Man, damn, yeah. I think my thing is that I was more so going after things that I didn't feel I would come across again. So I ended up I remember this like it was yesterday too. It was this guy named Leo I go to out here in Rockville, Illinois. I pretty much got my whole arsenal from him. And he had a Chiappa Rhino, a Nebula edition. He wanted
Okay.
1,300 for it. And I'm like, damn, this shit different. And I ain't really a fan of revolvers, bro. But like the way that the revolver was set up, like the barrel was in line with the palm of your hand, and that shit was just different for me.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
like, damn. So it was like really like the barrel, like how it's in line with the palm of your hand, it really was canceling out the recoil. Like that motherfucker don't move at all. And I'm like, damn,
That's
Leo,
tough.
like this shit just look different. Even though I ain't got the 1,300, man, I got this credit card, man. Go ahead, swipe this motherfucker.
Did you and you said you're in Chicago? Or are
I'm
you're in
I'm two
Illinois?
hours. Yeah, I'm Rockford, Illinois. We 2 hours outside of Chicago.
So I survived a shooting in Chicago with my
Oh,
boy
really?
Michael Walther. Yeah. We
Oh
were
man.
coming back from a training event for 3 days in St. Louis and on the south side on California Avenue. That's the one. That's the street. Yeah. And one of the Latin Kings jumped out on him and his son and shot off around, and then he got a bill drill to the chest. So Mike took care of business. I grabbed his son and ran back to the car. And yeah, it was a wild situation. He's actually been through 2 self-defense shootings in Chicago. There was one that if you look up a joint called I think it's Ryan's Pub, the shooting that happened there, that was my homie. Like my best friend.
Ryan's Pub. I'm man. Wait, that's the place the shooting happened at?
That's the second one, yeah. And he had to hit 2 people in that one.
Man, is he on social media? Is it a way I can connect with him as well? Or
yeah, for sure.
Man, yeah, we
that's
about to
my
make
brother.
that.
Like I can plug you with him whenever.
Man, yeah, because that'd be some shit to hear. Like people that actually been involved in that. So
Oh
like,
yeah.
even when you was in, you know what I'm saying? So what was the guy name that you said he gave dude a bill drill to the chest?
Yeah, Michael Walther,
Like
that boy, he can go. He trains a lot. He's like
yeah.
I called him the poster boy of the gun industry for like a couple years because he was just after that shooting, he caught the training bug and that's all he was doing. He was in every class getting busy. And yeah, he had to take care of somebody from probably I would say about 25 yards through a fence. And
Oh man.
we're defensive shooters, so obviously he was returning fire. And yeah.
Right. Man, so how was that for you on like a mental level? Like what did that do for you?
Oh, it
Like
was
how did
crazy.
that affect?
It was
Yeah.
crazy. I remember everything. My fight, flight, or freeze is a hybrid between fight and freeze because everything just slows down. So like I can remember myself jumping back into the car. I can remember myself putting his son in the back seat and throwing the bags on top of him. I remember jumping over the middle console into the driver's seat and throwing the car and drive because I was like, hey, if I got run over somebody, we getting out of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was wild. The aftermath was great. Well, I won't say it was great. The aftermath was cool because we had a pretty decent network of people, and I just started working with a mental health organization called Walk the Talk America. So it was cool. Like we had the resources for us to heal properly from it. And the fact that we knew the dude had to get put down for a good reason, like, bro, you shot at a dad and his son. Like, you deserve to go. When the cops got there, they were like, y'all tried to save him? We were like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like, if someone's still alive, like, try to plug the holes. He was like, someone's trying to shoot at me and my kid. I'm not saving them. I was like, damn. All right. Like the police said that. So it was like, yeah. But we knew, it was a righteous shoot. You know what I'm saying? And the best part about it was, one, Mike saved my life that day, saved his son's life that day, and anybody who would have had to come interaction with that dude that day. So
right.
Yeah. So God put us in that situation for a reason. Like we literally just came back from shooting 7,000 rounds a piece.
Damn.
I mean, just letting shit go for 3 days. And trigger fingers was warmed up. And
man, I think I
said that was between that dude and God. That wasn't even really a Mike thing. Like he was getting extracted off the earth.
Yeah, man. So I think it's safe to say then. So that situation probably in some form of shape, some way made y'all closer.
Oh,
after you know what I'm saying?
Brother. Every anniversary of it, he calls me at the exact time that it happened. And we'll sit on the phone and talk for like 30 minutes.
Nice, man. That's good. Sure. Well, first and foremost, man, I'm glad you made it out that situation alive, man.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely, man. I never I guess had a chance to talk to anybody that has been involved with a self-defense situation. You know what I'm saying? Like I know guys that indulge in that activity just on, that's just the lifestyle they live, but somebody having to actually defend themselves, never had a chance to talk to anybody that's been in that situation,
I got you.
man.
I'll plug you with them.
Yeah, appreciate that, Devin, man, bro. Man, appreciate the call, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was gonna ask you if I got way more to talk about on this topic. This was a good conversation. I was gonna say, could we do a part 2 sometime soon?
Man, hell yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure. If possible, I'll bring Mike on with me, and we can both talk about the whole weekend.
What's that was the topic. You talking about the topic we just with the self-defense joint?
Yep.
Man, that you know what? That actually would be a situation to where
I'm gonna send him your profile and then I'll call him and let him know what the deal is. He don't really got a choice. I'll just tell him, yo, we're doing this interview and he'll jump on. Okay. That's my brother. Like, yeah.
Okay.
And one of the things in the industry I'm very, very good at, I plug people with who they need to be connected with. So a lot of my friends have already given me the power to be like, yo, if you have a good situation for me, just go ahead and plug it and I'm gonna do it. So that's why I say it like that. I don't say it like I have control over anything. I just leverage relationships very well. And one of my powers is to plug people where they need to go. So even for you, if you need any interviews, anybody that I'm a degree of separation away from, let me know. I can call anybody. Like I got some plugs in this industry for you, bro.
Man, appreciate you, brother.
Young people like us need to be the forefront of the conversations. But yeah,
man, what you is you what 31?
Yes, sir. Yep.
31. Okay, cool. When you turn 32?
I'm about to turn 32. My birthday's at the end of this month. My bad.
Oh, damn, I just turned 32 in April 29th.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, man, bro. Whenever y'all ready, man, we could do another call, and that'd be even better if I got both of both guys that was involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I literally just texted him right now. So yeah, we're gonna set that up for sure.
Yeah, let's do it then. Well, shit, man, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out, bro, and then I'm gonna definitely we're gonna keep in touch after this, but let me close this out real quick, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, life is good, y'all. Life is wonderful. Be blessed to be alive. Self-sufficiency is how you survive. To the kings and queens, to the guys and goddess forever and always, think successfully. Yeah.